Hello, thank you for joining. I am Riley, known as the gut pharmacist. I'm a traditional naturopath and holistic nutritionist, and I specialize in gastrointestinal disorders and chronic illness. And today I want to talk about the SIBO IBS connection and the three types of SIBO. Okay. So, the first thing I want to mention is that IBS is now looking to be more of an umbrella term because there are so many gastrointestinal disorders from mild to severe that actually have the same symptoms as IBS. So, this new meta analysis, or newer, it's from 2018, but meta analysis is really elite because it looks at all papers on the same topic and makes a conclusion. So, this study actually showed that more than one-third of IBS patients tested positive for SIBO, and the odds of SIBO and IBS were increased by nearly fivefold. Okay, so research is there's a spectrum. So some studies say 30%. So there's like a range of 30 to 60% of IBS patients actually being shown for SIBO or testing positive. And then, of course, many GI disorders actually meet the same criteria for IBS. So, SIBO is a common contributor to IBS, often a top contributor. So, what are the symptoms of SIBO, which is small intestine bacterial overgrowth, and IMO, intestinal methanogen overgrowth, which I'll talk about shortly? So, the primary symptoms, mostly localized to the gut, are extreme gas and bloating. Those are huge symptoms with SIBO and IMO, as well as upper abdominal discomfort. So, extreme gas and bloating, especially within the first 1 to 3 hours of eating, more middle to upper symptoms, severe gas, bloating, distension, and changes in bowel habits, constipation or diarrhea or mixed, also food sensitivities, nausea, and indigestion. Then we have these secondary symptoms, which are usually just a result of gut dysfunction overall. So, headaches, fatigue, weight changes, whether it's weight loss, weight gain, reflux because of that increase in pressure on the abdomen, mood disorders because of that gut brain connection, malnutrition, not absorbing foods as well, and then joint pain and many other symptoms too. So many to list. So, with SIBO, there are actually three gases, and many practitioners are still using the two gas test. We need to make sure that we're getting the whole picture. So, testing all three gases is ideal. However, for constipation cases, so IBS-C, the two gas test is appropriate. But we have three gases. So we know of hydrogen, methane, and the newest one, hydrogen sulfide. So hydrogen is actually the SIBO driver. So this just means that SIBO is very likely, and it's a marker for SIBO in general. So changes in bowel habits, bloating, and gas are the primary symptoms that are correlated with hydrogen. So it's like hydrogen is the starter for SIBO. So these two bacteria, Klebsiella and E. coli, actually ferment fibers and create this hydrogen gas, which feeds the other two gases. So all three gases actually work together. So, with hydrogen being the starter, we have these other microbes. So, we have methanogenic archaea, which are not bacteria. And that's why the new term for methane SIBO is actually IMO, intestinal methanogen overgrowth. They're not bacteria. So, we basically have a new term for it. It just means that it's the methane SIBO. So, SIBO and IMO are the terms that are used. So, with hydrogen being in the middle, these archaea feed off of the hydrogen and create the methane gas, which is known as the slowing of motility constipation cases. Hydrogen in the middle also feeds those hydrogen sulfide producing bacteria. So, again, all three gases work together and they also feed on one another. So with methane, this is the IMO, the methane SIBO. This is the constipation type. So we have bloating and gas, slowing of motility, and also weight gain. Some people just feel really bloated and distended because everything slows down. Digestion, metabolism also may be impaired. So weight gain is also another symptom that occurs with methane. And this is again IMO, the methane SIBO. Then we have hydrogen sulfide, which is the latest gas that was discovered. This is correlated with diarrhea. So, with more hydrogen sulfide, we usually have more diarrhea and, of course, bloating and gas. Okay, so again, let's go back here. All three gases work together. Hydrogen is the starter and the fuel for the other two gases. So we need to test all three to make sure that we get the complete picture. But again, if it's a primarily constipation case, the two gas test can be appropriate. So, how do we test? The Trio Smart is the most elite SIBO and IMO breath test on the market right now because it tests for all three gases. So, again, with hydrogen, this is indicative of SIBO, no specific correlation with symptoms. We just assume there's a change in bowel habits, but this is the primary SIBO driver with methane, constipation, and hydrogen sulfide with diarrhea. So, Trio Smart is the only clinical breath test to measure hydrogen sulfide, again, correlated with diarrhea. So, with hydrogen sulfide, some patients may appear normal on previous breath tests. So, again, if we're missing the whole story, these three gases are very important to get more information. Um, Mostly suitable for SIBO and diarrhea, but with methane, the two gas test can be appropriate. So hopefully that helps. That was the SIBO and IBS connection and the three SIBO types. I have plenty of other videos on several digestive conditions, also chronic illness, mold toxicity, and everything in between. So be sure to subscribe, like, show the support, and thank you so much for watching.